What a wonderful... Oh, wait. Hey, hit those lights for me. I totally forgot to set the mood. What a wonderful way to start the show, though. Yeah, see? Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to the Church of Hella. I am Greg. With me, as always, is Jesse. In the dark, I forgot to turn that lamp on.
Jesse said, "Let there be no light."
Yeah.
Well, Greg said it, and then I did it, and it was.
Hey, Beats, thanks for being here. I am doing well. Bobby, lurk around, bro. Kristen, thank you so much for the raid, to bringing people in. I really appreciate you. We're gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna talk about some sports conspiracies. Tonight I'm gonna focus mainly on the NBA, just because that one when I started looking into this, I was like, there's a lot about the NBA that I didn't. I mean, I've always kind of suspected that David Stern was shady, and then like reading into all this stuff, I'm like, yo, dude.
You mean a prominent Caucasian man of power in America?
Old rich white guys are at it again.
There's just no way. I don't believe you.
No way, Jose. VRM, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. This is fun. We're going to have some fun tonight. So again, feel free to visit hellagregLIVE.com throughout all this. The Kings got fucked. The Kings did get fucked. That was, I was going to do something on that, and then I was like, I feel like I shouldn't go into the whole like Game 6 Kings Lakers. I mean, do you remember that one? Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah, where the Kings set a playoff record for most free throws attempted in a single quarter. It was like 24 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Kobe Bryant elbowing Mike Bibby in the face and getting away with it. And then even...
that would be before I was a really big basketball fan. Like, I've always liked basketball, but it's been the past decade that I've, like, really jumped into it and really started to enjoy it.
Yeah, and definitely. And looking back, it's so obvious now. And at the moment, I feel like it was probably more obvious to people who were obviously in the know. Like, right. Mike Wilbon was speaking out about it, like, as soon as it happened. He said the game was decided by three people, and it was the refs. And... people.
And Mike Wilbon's usually actually pretty level-headed and has a pretty good take on most.
He's the
things.
anti-Skip Bayless.
Yeah. Fuck Skip Bayless.
Yes, 100%. I agree.
And Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
And never. We don't have to.
I mean, we can make a whole show about just fuck these guys because Chris Collinsworth, Joe Buck. I got more. But yeah, like it was just crazy watching people call it out like at the time. And, I mean, obviously I didn't watch it happen at the time, but going back and looking at the stuff that people called out at the time, it was strange. And then even Tim Donaghy, the disgraced former NBA referee that was busted for gambling and fixing games and stuff like that, he even said he knew the outcome of the game before it even took place once they announced who the referee staff was going to be. Because he said... he knew two of them were company men. That means they were, only making moves that were in the interest of the NBA.
Right.
And if that means extending a game a little bit by allowing certain things to go uncalled, or maybe calling, frivolous and excessive fouls on other people.
Bringing the crowd down?
Oh, my. We'll get to that. We will get to that. That is the stupidest fucking thing.
Brought him down, though.
Yeah. AI goes, what do you mean? Like, why are you worried about that instead of reffing the game? So yeah, we're gonna talk about some fun stuff, but yeah, I didn't have that on there, but that is a good one. I am gonna start with the NBA draft being rigged. Part 1, the frozen envelope.
It would be easy to rig it early because I feel like I shouldn't say easy. That's silly, but like it feels like you could, especially the first lottery, how you're gonna talk about, it is like. That seems like the Wild West. You know what I mean? Like
it was uncharted territory.
Right. It's like unprecedented. Like, we're gonna stick our hand down in the bucket and pull a name out. Like, it's just such a and then it's like the next year everybody's like, hey, you can't fucking do it like that. You're right. Sorry. But the Knicks were already like
the Knicks were already like super excited and ready for it, and they So in '85, this is when Patrick Ewing got drafted. He was a beast in college. He took Georgetown to 3 finals in the 4 years that he was there. They won once. So he's got a 75% attendance and 33% completion. That's pretty good for a college athlete.
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated even called him, quote, the most recognized athlete to enter a professional draft.
Okay.
Because
what year was that?
85, the 85 draft. So he's out there trying, like, he's already a face. He's got that star power, like, media attention and all that stuff.
What's up, Ryan?
Oops. Patrick Ewing. And Adam Nugateri.
I was going to say, he and Adam Nugateri were some of my very favorite athletes.
But yeah, so like he already had this pull, and that people were interested in him. They're gonna watch. People wanted to see what Patrick Ewing could do.
Right.
And he was big. He was just big, which is gonna be great for the sport.
Well, he was actually literally big, and he was like a fucking ballerina.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Then,
he could score, he could post. He was a Swiss Army
like,
tool.
He was like one of the first big men who could move. It used to be like, get your 7-footer, stick him down there, and he'll.
Well, and at this time they didn't even have help defense allowed, so
right.
It's not like being mobile was necessary, but it
right.
helped on the offensive end, which a lot of them couldn't do. And they can, obviously now they can, but he did kind of help revolutionize the position, being more mobile.
Yeah.
Agreed. But it's great. So it was great for the sport to have him there, but it's also great for David Stern, who's also in his rookie year. This was David Stern's first year as the commissioner of the NBA.
Okay.
The 85 draft was his first.
That was his baby.
That was him. That was him. His welcome to the world. His hello world.
I gotta dunk it.
Oh.
I literally called it before we started. I was like, man, I know it's gonna happen. I just really don't want to dunk tonight. And Eddie, fucking 6 minutes into the stream. Like, how many dunks can we really muster? We've done all the.
Yeah, just go for the classic two-handed jam.
Oh yeah.
You want me to get up and play some D? Yes.
Redemption. Hurt my elbow a little bit on the doorknob, but I'm all right.
Doesn't even matter. Play through the pain. We're playing through it. That was good. I like it.
Thanks, man. I'll get some ice on that after the game.
Yeah, we'll get you in the whirlpool. Let's see. What'd you say, Beats? So I might have this wrong, but it seems like in the NHL, the worst teams get the first pick. If I'm the best player in the draft going first, I want to be playing for the best team. Like, imagine being the best player in the draft and end up on the Coyotes. It seems a bit unfair to play. So that was the case before the lottery.
And some sports are still that way. The football is still that way.
Yeah.
In the NFL, it's reverse order of the way you finish. So the worst team gets the first pick next year.
Right.
Every time. They can trade out of it.
Right. But it makes sense to do it that way. It makes sense to have it structured
for parity.
Exactly. So the team that struggled the most gets the best shot at not being the team that struggled the most this year, which is fine. But what was happening was teams that were doing well but maybe lost a player due to injury or something like
the Warriors right now.
Right. You lose a player or two and all of a sudden your playoff chances are gone.
Yeah, KD leaves, Steph gets hurt, Clay gets hurt, and they're like, let's just win like 26 games this year.
Yeah, we'll go out, we'll make it look like we're trying, and then we'll tank and get a great draft position next year and get another superstar player. So it's they created the lottery to combat that. So that tanking wasn't a guaranteed first draft pick overall, So they took the worst 7 teams, and put them in a lottery and chose the winner, quote unquote, at random. And
can I really quickly say that I, in my heart of hearts, don't believe that any athlete, I can't say any single athlete, any team, I truly believe that there's no team of professional athletes who have like openly tanked a season. Like So if you're going to continue playing there for the rest of your career and you believe that's your future, maybe I could see that. But on an NFL team, there's not 52 guys on a roster that are like, man, I want to be in Cleveland for the rest of my career.
Rad Dad, fuck the Knicks. I'm with it. That's fine. Fuck the Knicks.
But I think that these are guys that some dudes make it to the NFL without ever losing a football game in their life. They win all their middle school games, all their high school games.
Cam Newton
they go undefeated in college.
That was Cam Newton until he lost his first game in the NFL, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Not because I wanted to see him lose, but because welcome to the league.
Right.
White Sox throwing the World Series.
Except for Shoeless Joe, he's innocent. Let him in the hall.
I mean, can we let Charlie hustle in too?
Dude, you fucking kidding me? I would put him in
Right.
that, dude.
Yeah.
Like that. It's fucking horse shit that guy's not in the hall.
Yeah, 100%. 100% agree.
You bet on his team to win.
Yeah. So I was watching stuff about this, and we'll talk about it in the gambling part, but yeah, that makes a difference. Yeah, that was, these are thanks for the follow, Rad Dad 5. Appreciate you.
And as always, fuck the Knicks.
Yeah, and fuck the Knicks. Man, I love that. I love that people jump in the chat here and they have such strong opinions about sports teams. Like that's the world I want to live in, where we hate each other based on sports teams and nothing else.
That's fair.
That's a great, because it should never go beyond the sport.
But I was going to say is, what's funny is, even with that, like Paul and I went to a World Series game 2 years ago. Went to a Red Sox Dodgers World Series game as Red Sox fans in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And during the game, I almost didn't feel safe. Red Sox win the game, we leave, and 97% of people are like, you guys were the better team tonight. Good job, man. You guys played good tonight.
And that's what it's about. I agree there should be a level of
And that's how it is. When you're in the seats and the fucking game is being played,
we
are not. Turn around and quit looking at me. We're up. Scoreboard. Scoreboard.
Exactly. What do you want to do?
Yeah. I didn't hear no bell.
Exactly. And
I'm sorry.
And that's what it should be. I mean, you should be allowed to talk shit. You should be allowed to it shouldn't get physical over sports.
No.
It
shouldn't. You shouldn't get stabbed with a screwdriver.
Right. You shouldn't get beat down by a bunch of opposing fans in the men's room looking at you Niners. But like I think that's the world I want to live in, where you can just openly talk shit, but it's about sports, and somebody's just like, oh, you're a Lakers fan? Was that before or after LeBron? And they're like, oh, before. And you're like, oh, cool. So during the Kobe era. And they're like, no, before that. Oh, cool. So during the Magic era. Well, yeah, okay. Get out, bandwagon. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't even alive in the Magic era. It doesn't matter.
Pretty sure the Miami Marlins are a baseball team. Fuck yeah, they are. Good shit.
So not football in Europe. Got it. I don't know, man. I don't know enough about that.
Is that the kind where people just fall down and shit? Yeah, I've seen that one.
Oh man. Mixed crowds sitting next to each other.
I always loved that in in a soccer stadium. It's like,
yeah,
there's one that's red over here and it's yellow over here or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you got these seats, you are fucked, man.
Yeah,
you are fucked.
Hold. And they're just, tell me what's happening. I'm just pushing this guy the entire 90 minutes. How much more is in stoppage? But I can imagine. Well, you've seen videos of like soccer riots. Yeah, I call them soccer riots.
As somebody who suffers from social anxiety in large groups, I don't even want to talk about it. It's fucking like this. When the ones where like the stadiums are like, oh no, it got so crowded, it collapsed on the fucking people below it. Like, oh my gosh, it's the wild shit, man.
That bothers me. But like a soccer riot, like an actual, like when that line where the two teams meet gives, and it's on like Donkey Kong. That's what I want to be there for, because nobody's looking at me. You know what I mean?
You don't get those seats.
Those are the seats I want. Like just being completely neutral. Like, can I get like a press pass so nobody hits me and I can just like watch?
Beat said, here we have organized fights between sets of fans after games. Not so much now, but the 80s and 90s were crazy.
Fuck.
Like you just set up the fight card for the week?
Yeah, dude. Just you bring your best hooligans, we've got ours.
Meet me at the end of the lane. Don't come on the property.
End of the laneway, don't come up the property. I love it, dude. So back to the draft. The first year they used the lottery process, they took the worst 7 teams, put them in a lottery, and one was chosen as the first pick. It hadn't been done before, but again, it was to keep...
Was it just like all 7 teams, like there was a 1 in 7 chance you were getting pulled first, or was there still a percentage?
14.3% chance that you got the first pick.
Okay.
So not great odds.
Right.
Not great odds, but somebody's got to win. You know what I mean? Like again, 14.3% chance that you would get the first overall pick. And also, this is the first time that the NBA draft was televised. It hadn't been televised before this. So nobody had seen the process. Nobody knew exactly how it worked, or, the casual fan didn't.
Right.
But David Stern being the showman and always doing what's good for the league. And because, I'll give this...
Wouldn't be what it is today.
I don't like David Stern. I'm not gonna pretend like I do.
I mean, he can't hear you.
Right. And even when he was alive, I was very vocal about the fact that I didn't like David Stern. Not like he gave a shit. Like he was gonna hear me and be like, well, maybe I've got some soul searching to do. No. I just never cared for David Stern because I felt like he meddled. Like when things would start to happen.
Like the Chris Paul trade?
Like the Chris Paul trade, where the team that he prevented from trading from the league owned. Like, that's a conflict of interest. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. But all that stuff aside, he always, the moves that he made were always in the best interest of the league, which was ultimately in his best interest, but he understood that if the player does well, the team does well. If the team does well, the league does well. If the league does well, I do well.
He started the players have control in sports. Like
I've got some cool stats here for you towards the end of this. But he understood how trickle up economics, I guess. But so this whole thing was big for a few reasons. The league was struggling big time. Like the NBA. In 1982, the New York Times reported that 3/4 of the players in the league were on drugs. They were just like 75% of the players in the NBA are on drugs.
Nice.
Attendance was way down. I mean, like bad. In 1983,
Jackie Moon was like having to fight bears and stuff.
In 83, they almost disbanded 6 teams. Like,
yeah, that's what that movie is based on. Eddie hit you with put on the robes and preach about Letterkenny.
Oh man, all right. Yeah.
If you got a problem with that, Greg, you got a problem with me, and I suggest you let that one marinate. All right, buddy.
Preach about Letterkenny.
This should be easy. You think about it, but I like this. CP3 Laker for a day.
I always like the trades that happen mid-game.
We're like, hey, you can't play anymore. You don't play for us,
he
buddy.
Got pulled from the game, went straight to the airport.
That's like a baseball thing.
Yeah.
There's for sure been guys pulled in the middle of baseball games.
Half the other game.
Enjoy the last 3 innings on that team, you fuckface. The cool kind of drugs, Taylor. So any of them.
I mean, Doc Ellis pitched a no-hitter on LSD, allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly.
All right. So you want me to talk about Letterkenny? There's not a whole lot that I can say that hasn't already been said. I got to appreciate the straightforwardness of Wayne. I appreciate that they take care of Derry because he needs it. How else would he get breakfast? Squirrely Dan seems to be the voice of reason. And the hockey players are the chaos that the world needs. Bonnie McMurray is wonderful and has a special place in my heart. McMurray's a piece of shit.
Stuart.
Yeah, and the Skids. How can you not like the Skids? Stuart. So unfortunately, that one was a little bit uninspired, but I do. I mean, what can you say about something that's as wonderful and pure as Letterkenny? Aside from the fact that it's wonderful and pure.
You could say that's what I appreciate about it.
That is what I appreciate about it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
He gets naked for this, guys. I don't know. It's really weird. I don't know why he takes all of his clothes off to do the robes, but I mean, whatever. I'm here, so I might as well just check it out.
One of these days we'll do a behind-the-scenes stream.
Yeah, it's going to be on his OnlyFans.
$14.99.
The behind-the-scenes stream will be on hellagreg's OnlyFans. $14.99 for the first month. See, he got a personal birthday message from, Cameo. I didn't like call him up or anything. I didn't have any like personal connections.
Oh yeah. From Dylan Playfair.
From Dylan Playfair, but he did allow me to pay him to send Greg a message.
And he liked one of my tweets. So again,
which had nothing to do with us. So
that was just the grind over here.
Fucking dangles.
Talk to enough celebrities on Twitter. Eventually, one's gonna respond. So yeah, there was no the league was in dire need. It needed help. There was nobody who like Michael Jordan was still in his rookie year. He wasn't even, the Michael Jordan that we all know and love. He still had hair.
Right.
And you know what I mean? This was before he was even wearing Air Jordans and shaking the league up that way. But so the image problem the league was having could be helped by a hardworking fundamental college champion. Like that's just flat out facts. If you were to drop that talent into one of the largest sports markets in the country and the world, it would help the Team 5, sure, and would also help the league.
Change the lights to blue, please.
Oh, lights to blue. There we are. All nice and blue. So yeah, I mean, one of a reporter for the New York Times put in an article, he said there's a strong feeling among league officials and television advertising executives that the NBA will benefit most if Ewing winds up in a Knicks uniform. So, right, not a great look, but not necessarily a bad look. That seems like a general consensus. The league,
and it is a 1-in-7 thing.
Right, but it seems like the general consensus is that the league would benefit from getting one of the great new talents in front of the most eyes, which is the Knicks. Yeah. I mean it seems nefarious when you read back on it like this, seeing how everything shook out. But at the same time, it's a pretty innocuous statement. Like of course the league would do better putting him in the league would have done better putting LeBron there too.
Right.
The league would have done better putting Kobe there. Well, probably not. Los Angeles is another huge market and deserves its respect.
You need to put in a hook shot.
Hook shot. Oof. Oh, man. Is my shoulder even good enough for this? With the hustle plays.
That was my Larry Johnson putback. The Rain Man.
With the hustle plays. With no regard for human life. Those were good fundamentals. Patrick Ewing would be proud.
Thank you.
So again, a 14.3% chance of Patrick Ewing landing in New York. Not great odds, but again, somebody's got to win. So the league did have, Bird and Magic out there as the faces of their individual franchises, but they're also into, again, very large sports markets that are already kind of spoken for. With this New York one is just kind of flapping in the wind over here, not really getting the attention that it maybe deserves. You put somebody with so much star power in there, and it's going to revitalize the area. And even people who dislike Patrick Ewing would watch just to see him get beat. You know what I mean? Like if you don't like him, you're going to root for the team against him.
Right.
So. He did go on to win Rookie of the Year and then put up 13 consecutive playoff appearances too. So
is that good?
That's good. That's good. And so after the draft, when the Knicks took him, the Knicks GM already had a 33 jersey waiting. Like they said
it wasn't even the one jersey.
Yeah, exactly. Or the one jersey or the year that they drafted or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like he had a 33 Ewing Knicks jersey ready to go. They said he pounded the table and was like, "Yeah!" when they got him. And in the 2 hours after the draft, the Knicks ticket office had over 1,000 calls. And then in the following 2 days had over 1,000 requests for season tickets.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good for the Knicks.
I wonder if anybody can get that sweet Eli Manning Chargers jersey. Took one photo with it.
Pat O'Brien even exclaimed, "Basketball's back in New York, my friends." Hi, I'm Pat O'Brien.
I fucking actually love Pat O'Brien as a sports analyst.
Yeah, but he was hyped for Patrick Ewing in New York. And then afterwards, David Stern said, "We were very pleased with the lottery. The interest was great. People are talking about the lottery instead of drugs, unauthorized franchise moves, or anything else negative." So the bar was a little low. Are the Knicks not a good team in general? No, they are not.
Not anymore. Like you just said, though, they were that team that was there every year, never quite.
Yeah, I mean, 13 consecutive playoff appearances, but no championships. Because Patrick Ewing retired without a ring, yeah?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I think he did. I mean, I guess their whole thing worked to revitalize the league, you know? But kind of how it makes you wonder, how did they get so lucky? 7 teams, one each with their own envelope. This guy walks out and they had like this big plastic drum. It was like a ball. You open one side of it like a bingo thing. And they didn't use like ping pong balls or like the bingo roller or anything. This thing was way too big for the use. It was just a big plastic ball with a door on it like this. And they had big like white envelopes with the team logo on there. And the guy carries them out, and he one by one puts them in there. And gets to the 4th one, and he bangs it on the side of the thing, bending the envelope before he drops it in there. Pay attention, yeah.
Like, why not just do it before you come out? Why you do it?
Well, I mean, because it was unintentional. It was I just banged the thing on the side, like trying to stick it in there. It bent the envelope. So it's in there. They close it up. They roll it around a couple of times. They open it up. David Stern walks over and he goes, sticks his hand down inside there and grabs a stack of the envelopes, flips them over, and then takes one from the near where the bottom was. Mm-hmm. And
why didn't he just pull one out?
And but that's how he did it. And that was the envelope that he pulled was the Knicks, and Patrick Ewing goes to the Knicks, and the rest is history. Yeah. But so like
Bobby wants rainbow lights. If you can you make him do it?
Oh man, I don't think so.
Is there a switch between lights button? All right. Said make them mix.
Can I? You can't really see it.
Yeah, it just kind of looks white.
Yeah.
You can't really see that. Well, throw it on my camera and you can see it.
Yeah, it's on your camera.
Nope, sure can't.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Bobby.
They're mixed, Bobby.
That's about as mixed as they can be. It's actually kind of peaceful. It's got a Christmas vibe.
It's white. It's angelic.
They go a little pastel like that right there.
Christmas.
Yeah. They bent the envelope so that David Stern can find it. There's also a rumor that the envelope was frozen, and what they did, they kept it in the freezer for like a day, and then put it in the stack.
He's like, you better fucking take the cold one.
Exactly, and like just when you put your hand in, you're reaching around, you're feeling for the cold envelope. Pull the cold envelope. BuzzFeed, as much as I hate to cite them.
Sure, they were probably there covering the '85 draft.
Well, they did a whole thing on this on the frozen envelope, and like at the end of it, they froze their own envelope.
Oh, okay.
To see if they could tell the difference. And
they're like, if you put something in the freezer for several days, is it colder when you pull it out?
The envelope wasn't.
It's 40 clicks later.
It was a YouTube video, so I only had to skip through a couple of ads.
Okay.
But it was so they pulled it out and like they couldn't determine which one was which.
It's probably something you could tell like seconds after it comes out, but 5 minutes later, unless it's developed some type of frost, like paper is not a thermal.
Yeah. And like especially under stage lights and like in a plastic drum with a bunch of other, like that's been heated by those stage lights
and being handled by you'd said the guy came up and like threw them in one by one. They were in some dude's hand. They had friction against one another. Like yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the friction from tumbling around against each other, and so
fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was alleged that the Knicks envelope was placed in the freezer. making it easy for Stern to identify and leaving no traces of the whole thing being rigged.
I'll buy the bent thing, though.
Yeah, but they tested that too. They bent one of the corners of their envelopes and then put it in the thing. And one guy had trouble finding it. The other one found it pretty quick. But also it was in like a plastic bucket, not a big drum that had been tumbled a couple of times.
How many times did they get to practice?
I don't know.
Need pracky, boys.
That's right.
Gotta pracky pulling those cards out.
They also they talked about how why didn't they use a ping pong ball or anything like that? And they said we didn't want the drum to come open during the ceremony and have the balls spill everywhere and have this whole thing become kind of undignified. Again, it's their first year doing the lottery. It's the first time it's televised. Right. Like they picked a lot of firsts. And when they did like a dress rehearsal in David Stern's office, which that's a little sus if you ask me. Like, we got to make sure we get the nicks on the first try. Here we go. And they said the envelopes fell out.
Come on, David.
They said envelopes fell out during the practice rehearsal, like during the dress rehearsal. So
wonderful.
So they were all really nervous about fucking it up on stage. But in his, I think Stern may have rigged it. I'm not sure how, but I think he may have rigged it. And I really don't think he rigged this specifically, but I think he makes a lot of moves and just made a lot of unilateral decisions that were ultimately what was good for the league. But again, what's good for the player is good for the team, is good for the league, is good for David.
Right. I think for me, not to be like the guy who's like sport athletes and people related to them do nothing wrong. For this, I just feel like unless it was like 3 people, like these things don't work. You can't do things like this that involve people because someone will talk.
Yeah.
Someone will talk. Even if it's 3 people, like that's a lot of chance.
It's a lot of liability. How many secrets do you keep from your wife?
Right. Like, yeah. I mean, let me tell you a story about in 1985.
I rigged the NBA.
I was the deputy commissioner of the NBA. And the view, listen, a frozen envelope is actually a really good idea. And the first David was like, listen, we're not going to do it. David doesn't sound like that, but I digress. And then I think about.
Old man? Sir?
So the year was 1985.
David Stern was a rookie commissioner. Yeah, I mean, like, I agree. But I think what the things that he did, people could justify, so they would be able to keep that quiet. Because again, if he's like, hey, listen, we're gonna put him in the biggest market, we're gonna make so much money for the league, and it's gonna grow, and it's gonna be this big, powerful thing, and
right.
And we're all gonna be there for the ride. Like, this is gonna be fantastic. Like, I can see people being like, yeah, okay, like that. We're doing this this is altruistic. Like, sure.
I think VRM. I think the problem with that is that, like Greg was saying,
they had the logo on the front,
big old logo on it. Like it would have been like
he did hold it out backwards.
The New York Knickerbockers.
He did hold it out like away from the camera. When he pulled it out, like all you could see was the seal on the back that held the envelope shut.
I'm just thinking about Steve Harvey doing the like Miss Universe contest or whatever,
messing it up
when he fucking did. Oh, I'm sorry.
The Atlanta Hawks. I mean, that's my bad. Yeah. So, but again, him making all these unilateral decisions.
This is why we did a rehearsal, David Stern. I know. Oops.
They said in the following 7 years after he took over in his first 7 years, they set attendance records year after year. They had a 437% increase in merchandise sales.
It's pretty good, man.
They saw a 177% increase in salaries, and some franchises tripled in value. So that's, I mean, overall, what's good for the league is good for David. He's helping himself.
Yeah.
And is that really wrong? Like,
I mean, it's not wrong if you're not cheating. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you handle your shit. But if the envelope is getting frozen and the corner's getting bent, like we need to start talking about maybe
bringing it back a little.
Bring it back a little.
Dial it in. So
let's take some ideas from the players' union, which doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, the franchises tripling in value is kind of one thing to note. If they do well, the league does well. Cater to the franchise that's struggling. You know, I mean, if you're a guy who owns a bunch of stores and one of your stores isn't doing well, that one's going to get some special attention, right?
Yeah.
You know, help the Limpy Gazelle keep it from getting eaten. Plus, then you got to spend how much more money to. I mean, you're eating the cost of all the merchandise that's out there. You're moving a team. You're rebranding. You're transferring a whole organization. Beats, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful night, and I will see you next time. Eddie, you're right. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. And Kristen, you're right. It's not cheating if you don't get caught. It's only illegal if I get caught.
I was actually just telling them the opposite. It is cheating, and Santa sees it. So you think Santa's going to see it and Krampus isn't? Fine. Take your beatings with a hickory stick.
I mean,
maybe he'll carry you away.
I was going to say, as long as he chokes me,
also,
too.
there's that dude, Jesus. Some people say that guy, Jesus, sees some shit in the sky.
I'm not too worried about him.
I'm just worried about the wheels in the sky that just
seem to keep on turning. So yeah, you're gonna lose a bunch of money trying to rebrand and move a franchise and do all that stuff. I could.
You mean like the Hornets who became the Bobcats, who then moved and became the Pelicans, and then the other team became the Bobcats, and
then became the Hornets?
Yeah. It's obviously way less than that, but it's.
No, I mean, or just the sheer cost of moving Seattle to Oklahoma City. I mean, you've got all this Seattle merchandise. You've got these jerseys that are Seattle that say Durant on the back, and you got to do something with them. Like, so what do you like?
You do what they do with like the losing Super Bowl shirts, and you like send them to Africa.
Yeah, you donate them to another country.
Yeah.
But he's, all things considered, I would say David Stern probably made moves that were net good for the league. Adam Silver, I feel like he does the same thing. He learned from David Stern. He worked right underneath him, you know?
He's even more progressive because he's like, yo, you know that whole weed thing David would sometimes get you guys on? Well, he's dead now. And you guys can just smoke weed now. Go ahead. We're not testing for it.
That's good. But I also think I think he does a lot more behind the scenes like David Stern did. That's, again, net good for the league, which ends up being net good for Adam Silver.
Right.
Again, this particular case with the Knicks and Patrick Ewing, I don't necessarily believe that this was rigged, or if it is, I'm going to need to see something better than a frozen envelope.
Or a bent corner.
Now, a New York tabloid did disclose that an unbiased accounting firm, Ernst & Whitney, they handled the whole lottery process. Was also the auditing firm for Gulf and Western, which is the company who owns the Knicks.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So
what? But I thought you said unbiased.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry. I have the unbiased accounting firm. I do have it in quotes here. I just forgot how to read quotes. Jack Crump said he was the GM of the Knicks, and he said, "Hey, I told him how to fix it 60 days ago. You call up Ernst & Whitney and say, if we don't get Ewing, you're fired." That's a quote from him.
Don't throw that at me, man.
I'm gonna throw it around. It makes me so furious. The Atlanta Hawks GM, Stan Kasten, said he was at a college tournament a few months prior talking to an NBA rep that he didn't want to name.
Of course not.
Who said it was all arranged and that he's going to the Knicks. He's going to the Knicks. I know it. It's all set up. He's going to the Knicks. For what it's worth, the Hawks were also in the lottery for Ewing. So.
Right.
Pat Williams, though, the GM of the 76ers, this guy gets the award for best backhand burn on because they asked him about this, and he said, "Can you imagine on national TV? I don't think the NBA offices are that smart." So shout out to Pat Williams.
Yeah,
because that's legit.
It's awesome.
Regardless, the NBA has seen its fair share of luck that happens to benefit the league more than anyone else. This is part 2 of the rigged draft. I'm kind of done with the frozen envelope now.
Okay. I'm gonna bring it back up.
Other examples of possible fixing by the league, because they just seem to be one of the luckiest leagues out there. Like anytime they need somebody to land someplace, because it makes for a good storyline.
It's like the Patriots and the Yankees winning the Super Bowl in 2001. Or the Super Bowl and the World Series respectively in 2001. It's it's just a good story, man. Like, and I'm not saying it'd be really hard to rig a team to make it all the way to a championship game and then win it, especially in baseball, over 7 games each series, 5 in the DSs. But like,
look at what Tim Donaghy said about how easy it was to rig NBA games. You're letting them play.
Yeah,
it's key calls.
Yeah,
it's certain ones that bringing the crowd down.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. I mean, it's not that hard. I wouldn't think, especially if you're getting paid for it. You keep your damn mouth shut for that.
Yeah. I mean, baseball, it's balls and strikes, but even then, like, home plate ump will get taken off the fucking crew if they're all out. I don't know. Baseball seems like it'd be the hardest to do it in for sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, it's about shifting. I would argue my point for that would be that it's about shifting momentum in baseball, where you don't necessarily call them all balls or call them all strikes or whatever. It would be more
the big balls and the big strikes,
the crucial ones, the ones where he's you put him at a full count.
Yeah.
Not the 3-2 pitch, but the 3-1.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now you backed him into a corner. Yeah. And he's got if he gets the hit, he gets the hit, whatever. Those balls
you're doing the best you can.
Yeah, exactly.
I just thought it goes along with those like really great sports coincidences.
Yes. But yeah, it just seems like in the league, in '85 they needed something big to happen. So Patrick Ewing goes to the Knicks, and that's huge for the league. And they
who else was in that draft?
I'm not sure.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, but some other like notable like big time draft like lottery picks that were like these guys, boy, they got lucky because they needed it. Shaq to the Magic. You know what I mean? They didn't really have a whole lot going on for them, and they needed something big. They needed something helpful, and so they get rookie phenom Shaquille O'Neal, and usually what was happening was the team that won the lottery usually saw playoffs the next year or close to it.
Okay.
However, the Magic won the lottery the following year and used it to I forget who they drafted, but they traded for Penny Hardaway. And so that's what, you know what I mean? So now you've got Shaq and Penny, and that was a great duo. That was a fantastic duo. I remember watching them as a kid, thinking they were cool.
Because they were.
Yeah, they were. So it's just another way of the lottery putting people in the right place at the right time, seemingly by coincidence.
You want a couple real quick key names from that 1985 draft?
Yes.
Let's go with Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullin, Detlef Schrempf, Charles Oakley, Karl Malone, Joe Dumars, AC Green, and Terry Porter, all first round.
That's a good first round. That's a good draft
class. I mean, that's like the more notable names. There's some names you wouldn't recognize that went like second, third, and fifth. Like you'd be like, who? Because I was.
Yeah. No, I agree. But those are some notables.
Fun fact: first point guard off the board in that draft, 24th overall.
Really?
Yep.
It seems deep. A lot of
first shooting guard was 14th. They were all forwards and centers prior to that.
A lot of heavy teams. A lot of big teams.
A lot of big boys. Chris Mullin, fuck yeah.
So another one of another example of the draft having a way of just dropping somebody in the right place at the right time would be Derrick Rose to the Chicago Bulls. Mm-hmm. Same kind of thing. The Bulls needed help. They needed somebody. They needed something. Oh, they're a storied franchise.
Poor D Rose.
They're a storied franchise, and they needed somebody, and so they drop another rookie phenom here. Blop. This is yours now. Go win games. And it's a huge market. If it's a smaller market, maybe they don't care as much or don't try as hard. But Kyrie to Cleveland. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To lure LeBron back.
Yeah, bait to bring Bron back. LeBron walks away. They need a superstar. They got Kyrie that they could use to lure LeBron back. Kind of nice how that worked out. But, got their rings, so...
Rings.
End result. That's pretty much all I have for the draft, for the NBA draft. But I've got more. I've got the Michael Jordan retiring. So this one's gonna be a little fun because I know I've brought this one up to you a lot, and every time I talk about it on Reddit, I just get shit on by Jordan stans. These guys come out of the fucking woodworks with their pitchforks, and they're like, "Fuck you." That's
Jordan's GOAT, and there's no other way that anybody could ever be anyhow.
Yeah, like how dare you disrespect Lord Jordan, his airness. And I'm like, it's not that I'm disrespecting Jordan because I'm not going to argue that he's the GOAT. I mean, one of the greatest players, one of the two greatest players of all time.
That's probably right about it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm okay with him as a player. As a person, he's a hunk of shit. It's the Kanye West effect, where as an artist, the product that he puts out is fantastic. The product that Jordan put out was fantastic. Clutch threes, the visuals, the dunks, the aesthetic, the shrug. The shrug. The whole thing was great.
I got the flu. Motherfucker, you are hung over.
Or food poisoning.
Hung over.
Agreed, but they blamed food poisoning. It wasn't the flu.
Isn't it called the flu game?
Yeah, it was called the flu game, but because that's what they said at the time. But four guys delivered that pizza, and
they all came on it.
And Jordan ate the whole thing. He was the only one who ate from it.
Yeah, I don't know. For a guy who fucking was like a notorious partier and rager and gambler and I know, that's what I'm saying. If you expect me to believe that he just, oh man, it was the pizza I had. Fuck you, Michael Jordan. No, it wasn't. It was the strip club until 6 a.m. And yeah,
see, I don't think with Jordan, I don't think it was strip clubs. Like I get with Harden, he loves strip clubs. Kawhi loves strip clubs. Fine, do your thing. Have your fun. I don't care. I think with Jordan, it was more about the competition. He got off on competition more than he got off with women.
Yeah, like he got off on besting people.
Right. Yeah. Like he was gonna sleep better after winning in the casino or hitting a big shot and winning the game,
or drinking someone under the table,
or possibly, than he would after a roll in the hay with 3 women. I would think. Because that's how everything about Jordan has pointed to him being the most competitive person you will ever meet. And you have to be like that if you want to be Michael Jordan.
He made a bunch of 3-pointers just to make sure some little kids didn't get shoes one time. Remember that at the
Fuck
camp?
Them kids. Yeah. Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Chris Paul was like, oh man.
That's what you get for betting on Jordan or for betting against Jordan, though. Like, that's he's a gambler. So.
I just assumed that Chris Paul was probably like, oh, man, he's going to miss the last one, for fun. Michael Jordan was like, nah, I don't miss.
Yeah, Why would I miss?
I'll bring down my lifetime percentage that way. Right? When I get to heaven, they're not going to have my stats right. It's like the guy who doesn't take up chucks from 3/4 court before the quarter because it's going to ruin his field goal percentage.
Passes it. So July 22nd, 1993, James Jordan was killed in a rest area in Carolina after a, quote, robbery gone wrong. This event changed the sports world as we know it. MJ had just completed his first three-peat in the NBA. He back-to-back champion. Arguably the most popular athlete on the planet at this point. Tremendous moneymaker for the NBA. Literally the face of the league.
Yo, Space Jam.
No, that hadn't happened yet.
I know, but even still, like if you didn't know Michael Jordan as a basketball player and you're from our era,
right?
You knew him from Space Jam,
right? But I agree. Okay. But that we're not to Space Jam. This is pre-Space Jam.
All right.
This is all pre-Space Jam. Which is another one of the theories.
Space Jam was way later, but I mean, still,
it's not that much later. So, he was the face of this league, and 4 months after his dad died, and one day before the 1993 training camp started, he announced that he was retiring from the NBA after his first three-peat at his prime at 30 years old. He said at the time that he'd accomplished what he set out to do. and essentially that nobody here was good enough to play against him. He didn't say that, but he kind of implied that when the challenge and the drive is gone, there's no point.
Yeah. It's too easy to win chips here.
I mean,
Michael Jordan.
I just did it. I just did it 3 times and nobody stopped me.
Yeah, that's true.
And
I did it with the flu.
Imagine if he hadn't retired, because he came back and got 3 more. So imagine if he hadn't retired and those 17 months in between. Imagine 7 rings?
Play some baseball, man.
Maybe 8. So the sudden retirement appeared to be what appeared to be his peak was sparked by a lot of rumors. Maybe he retired because he's mourning the loss of his father. Can't focus on the game anymore. Maybe it has to do with his gambling. So in 1992, just off of a successful title run, Jordan was called to testify at the trial of James Buhler, who was a convicted cocaine dealer. On trial again, charged with possession and facing a life sentence, and was also charged with money laundering. And while they were going through his stuff, while he was under surveillance, they went through some of his items, and they found a $57,000 cashier's check signed by Michael Jordan.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Unless you're Michael Jordan.
Right. Initially, when asked about it, Jordan said that it was a loan. I loaned him some money. And
do you know who I am? $57,000.
Yeah, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Not a great look for the league associating with drug dealers and money launderers. But you're doing charity. You're loaning the money out. You're not taking the money or whatever. So that's fine. Turns out, you know how broke coke dealers are. Eventually they found more checks that totaled around $108,000.
Also a loan. Forgot about that one.
And that's what he said until he was put on the stand at the trial of James Buhler. And he said that, yeah, these are me paying back gambling debts. I lost money gambling, and this is me paying him back. Oof. And I mean, that's fine. The league didn't have any rules against gambling specifically.
Right.
So you can gamble. It's not a problem.
I was just saying oof to can you imagine losing $100K gambling?
Dog. I'm about to hit you with some numbers.
I go up to the casino and I get down $60 and I'm like, man, fuck this. I'm getting a hot dog and getting the fuck out of here.
Right. So, for the purpose of establishing a pattern, I'm gonna hit you with some examples. From an article by fadeawayworld.com, Michael Jordan's worst gambling stories. Jordan bet on games of rock, paper, scissors with friends. And was betting up to $100,000 on games of rock, paper, scissors.
One throw or best 3 out of 5?
They didn't specify, and I was guessing a throw. Better gambling than drugs if you're a sports hero.
Nah, both.
Yeah.
Porque no los dos.
What was it? All of our sports heroes are either drunk or on cocaine. He racked up $1.3 million in losses while golfing with the former San Diego Sports Arena GM Richard Esquinas. That guy will come into play again in a minute here.
Cool. Can't wait.
Also, $300,000 on a single putt with Charles Barkley. I mean, that seems like a safe bet.
I was gonna say, I've seen Barkley Charles swing, but I don't know that I've ever watched him putt. Maybe.
Why not both? Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he's a great putter. Maybe he's opposite Happy Gilmore.
Reverse Happy Gilmore.
He can't drive for shit, but damn, is his short game amazing.
He's got the touch.
Just tap it in.
Allegedly only got 1 hour's sleep in the Olympics before beating Croatia because he was up until, quote, 6 a.m. playing poker with his teammates. Now, that's impressive. Going out and just decimating
we were so much better than the rest of the world of basketball at that time.
40-point victories, nightly.
Now it's competitive. It's pretty competitive.
Yeah.
Back then,
it was not.
We literally just that is perfectly acceptable for him to have done that because they instead of beating Croatia by 40, they beat him by 26 or whatever.
Right. Well, so I think it's impressive that he was able to, get an hour's sleep, go out there and play a full basketball game and just poop all over the opposing team. That's fine. I think it's a slightly more impressive that Pippen did it too, and Magic did it too, and Barkley did it too. He's up playing with his teammates. These guys are just as tired, and they're not Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? There's still Charles Barkley, there's still Magic Johnson, there's still Scottie Pippen, but they're not Michael Jordan. So I think that's what's $100K for dudes like Jordan? Exactly.
Well, you know what he's worth now?
It's over $1 billion.
Yeah, it's $2.2 billion. He owns an NBA franchise.
Partially.
Well, he's the only former player to be on any.
Partially owns an NBA franchise.
Yeah. The majority stake, though, if I'm not mistaken.
So this guy also used to bet $900 on whose luggage would show up first, like while they're standing there in the airport waiting.
But I mean, that's like you turning me and going like, "Hey man, bet you $10 my bag comes out first," and me being like, "You're fucking on 20 says mine's out first. Like, let's do this." Like I mean, equivalent wise, I even before he was worth billions, that's like, to him that's what they're doing.
I understand,
but it's still fucking insane. No, I get it.
It's insane.
That's how you know you're disconnected from reality.
He was up $1 million in a casino one night playing blackjack.
He's like, "But I can get down too. Watch this." And
walked out down 5. Like that's like that makes me sick to my stomach.
Down 5
on a craps table. And you remember when Adam Pac-Man Jones got suspended from the NFL for that whole fight at the strip club, whatever?
Yeah.
Same night. Jordan was down at the casino blowing change like that and fucking everybody's money up because he just kept losing.
Man, he's so lucky his endorsement deals were so dope, because I'm going to look up his salary. Dude, these guys did not get paid that much back then. Like,
yeah,
$5 million in a night? Fuck.
Well, I mean, so when was that? When was that then Adam Pac-Man Jones got thrown out of...
I mean, that would have been like the early 2000s.
I think. So Jordan's, he was coasting by then, but
that's true.
But still, $5 million in a night, and it pissed off Adam Jones so much that that was why he got a little violent at the strip club.
Adjusted for inflation, his entire career's salary only equals $144 million. It was 80. He got paid $86 million to play basketball.
That's why he gambled so much. He's trying to. It's an investment.
I'm trying to become a billionaire.
So now that we kind of have a sense of his kind of compulsory gambling, remember Richard Esquinas from earlier?
Yeah.
He wrote a book called Michael and Me, and it was all about how he bet on golf with Michael Jordan. Now let me ask you.
He's like, me and Michael, we were into some weird shit, man. Just get ready for this book.
Let me ask you, if we were talking about betting, like, and we're at the airport, and I'm like, hey, $20 says my bag comes out first. Or no, we're out playing golf. We've gone golfing together. You've seen me golf. I've seen you golf.
Never see me golf again.
I say $100 on this hole right here. I mean, that's a fair amount of money.
Yeah, for a hole of golf.
For a hole of golf, and I win. Or I'm sorry, say you win. Would you let me argue that down? Would you let me say, well, I don't really want to. I don't actually have $100. Like, what if I gave you like $15?
I'd say, cool. Then you just give me the other 85 later, man.
Right. You wouldn't let me just walk out of $100.
No. Yeah. Especially that's a handshake bet, man. Either that or we fighting.
Right. Taking your $15 and taking the other 85 out of your ass.
Also, I like those shoes. Give me them shoes.
They don't fit, but I like them. Probably get $85 for them. Jordan was down in debt to Esquinas over a round of golf that cost him $1.3 million or $1.25 million.
According, if you $755,000, you shut your mouth.
Lower, Bob.
Oh my God.
$300,000.
I mean, I still would have been like, all right, Michael, like, I'll take it. What? I mean, it's not exactly legally binding, is it?
See how aggressive Michael Jordan is and how he has to win all the time?
But see, that's what I'm saying, though. Is like, you're not getting that 1.3. You never really had the 1.3.
You didn't have the 1.3.
Take the 300 and the victory and not having to worry about Michael Jordan.
That is $1 million less than what you bet.
Yeah, no,
$1 million
hey, look,
less.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't be there if it were me expecting the 1.3 million, but also at the same time, I'm like, yo, 300,000, I pay off my mortgage. I never really have to work full time again in my life. Like, that's the way I see it. But I'm also not a rich guy playing for a couple mil at the golf course. So
right.
That's also why I believe
I agree, but
talk him down.
Right, but I like if Michael Jordan owed me $50 and was like, yo, I'll give you 10 and we'll call it even. I'd be like, no, I want all 50. I want
100, bitch.
I want you to feel how it feels to lose to me.
Yeah.
You are Michael Jordan. You punch Steve Kerr in the face in practice. In practice.
We talking about
teammate.
Practice, man.
We'll get there.
Not a game.
We'll get there. But I mean, like, you're the most aggressive, like, gotta win dude of all time. Yeah. And you lost to me. Fucking me. You suck. You are trash kid. Like,
also, I'm gonna need my 1.3 million.
Yeah, I want
ASAP. I'll stop you by the bank on the way.
I want every red hot cent. I don't want it to be a penny off. But that's
nobody get it turned into ones. Ew, Michael's money.
Exactly. But yeah, again, they settled for 300,000. So there's that.
I mean, I'll still take it. I get what you're saying.
Jordan was also spotted in a casino around 2:30 a.m. the same day he was scheduled to be playing in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The NBA launched an investigation into his actions. They were like, he's gambling a lot. He's associated with money launderers. This is not a great look for the league.
Yeah.
So they launched the investigation, and before the investigation was concluded, Jordan retired. If you want to avoid suspicion, that ain't
Retire.
it. No, that ain't it. Like, that's not the move.
I'm out of here, guys. Nothing's wrong. I just don't really work here anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't take nothing. Never going to see you again, though. Enjoy your lives.
Bye. So, yeah, but also, I guess if you want to do the old double bluff and kind of steer into the skid, like,
I do.
You got nothing to hide, so you might as well act as guilty as you want, because
it's like the dudes,
an innocent person wouldn't.
It's like the dudes who like can't cooperate with cops because they know they're so innocent.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, cool, man. If you could just help us, that'd be probably actually more beneficial for you and us. But I'm just saying.
Quit resisting. So the investigation.
Don't tase me, bro.
Wait.
Don't tase me, bro.
Did you know it was named after a guy whose last name was Taser?
Yeah. I think it was Thomas A. Swift's electric rifle.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, I think I told you that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Far out, man.
I think it was the last episode.
The Circle of Life. I like how that just comes back.
Circle of jokes.
Yeah, the investigation lasted about 5 months. The jury got together. They deliberated for about 2 days and then said they found no trace of Michael's gambling.
None at all?
None at all.
Well,
not the book Michael and Me. Not the checks that were signed by Michael Jordan that were testified to be payment for gambling. Not the testimony that he gave in court. Kind of none of it. And when he retired, Jordan wasn't real shy about rumors. Like, they were like,
he's just blowing stogie smoke in your face.
Well, no, they were like, are you going to come back, or is this just temporary? And he said, and this is what really kind of sparked the whole conspiracy theory thing for a lot of people. He said, if that in 5 years, if that urge comes back, if the Bulls will have me, if David Stern will let me back in the league, maybe I'll come back. Now, at face value, that's just like, I'd go home if my mom would let me back in the house. Right. Like, it's obviously your mom's going to let you back in.
Maybe there's a behind doors agreement.
That's what everybody's saying was it was a handshake agreement that while he was under investigation, they found obviously he did all kinds of gambling, and it was bad look for the league. And we know how concerned they are about their image because of how they rigged the draft for Patrick Ewing and so many other players.
No, I'm retiring.
Yeah. Oh, changing the lights to red. I got you. Hold on. Nope. That's half them.
Do the other half, right?
There we go. We got him.
Chill.
I got him. So yeah, a lot of people were saying that it was a handshake agreement, that he said, you know, that you're going to serve this suspension. It's going to be a year or 18 months or whatever it is. And then you can come back and we'll deal with it then, or whatever their agreement was. So it's just a little sus. Maybe it was just a turn of phrase. Maybe it was more to it. Also, I think it's weird how Jordan, who again we talked about, was a guy who was like win at any cost kind of guy. Strange that he just walk away from a 3-peat team when he could have had potentially so many more. Yeah. But he left and he chose to play baseball. Played for the Chicago White Sox.
AAA affiliate,
minor league affiliate, the Birmingham Barons. Yeah. Underperformed there, but he sold a shit ton of tickets.
Also, I will give it to him, though. He was able to laugh at himself, and that's when you kind of talk about Space Jam. When, like, the whole beginning of the movie is how he was shitty at baseball.
That's one of the thank you for I'm glad you like the Dare shirt. That was one of the theories, is that Michael Jordan had to leave the NBA because he was in space protecting us from the Monstars.
Yeah.
And remember when they had him on the planet and he was doing hard labor and signing autographs and all that? So that's where Michael Jordan was when he was suspended.
Right.
And that's, you know,
like, that's actually you're like that's actually meta.
Yeah, it was a documentary.
That's canon. That's what happened.
It was a documentary. So yeah, that this is all when Space Jam took place, though. Was after while he was retired during this time. Yeah. So, like I said, you weren't too far off when you were talking about he was so popular because of Space Jam. But I think they used his popularity to launch Space Jam, and then used Space Jam to launch his popularity again. And that's what got him back into basketball. And
everybody get up. It's time.
Well, and I mean, think of how much negotiating leverage he would have coming back to David Stern and wanting to play basketball again. And
I did this movie with Bill Murray and Newman.
Well, but think of again.
Oh shit! Did you say Newman?
The face value that he had.
Yeah.
You know, now people who gave zero shits about basketball took their kids to see Space Jam, and now their kids give 2 shits about basketball, and now they want to watch Michael Jordan every weekend.
New one's coming out.
Yeah. I heard.
And LeBron's a better actor than Michael Jordan.
He's just got to be better at everything than Michael Jordan.
That's not even debatable, I feel like.
I think Michael Jordan did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But so after 17 months, Michael Jordan's agent sent out a fax. 2 words.
Facsimile.
What were those 2 words?
I'm back.
I'm big.
Like, but we retired your number.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, all right, fine. Then I'll wear 45. It doesn't matter. So he returned to the league, continued to dominate, brought home a second 3-peat, concluding in 1998. I'm almost done with my NBA strangeness. I've got one little segment left. If you have ones that you like, let me know, because the next episode is going to be like other sports conspiracies like this. You know, we'll touch on Deflategate. Maybe we'll talk about some FIFA stuff. But
FIFA stuff is gnarly.
I know. But tonight I'm going to wrap up with some more David Stern favorites. Just talking about practice. Talking about David Stern versus Allen Iverson. A heavyweight fight for the ages. It was.
I'm talking about practice, man.
See, and that's one of the things.
Not a game.
Remember how out of proportion that got blown?
Yeah, because he didn't. It wasn't even that like
he missed practice because he was attending the funeral of a friend.
Yeah.
And he was like because he got fined for it, and he was like, I don't care. It's practice. Like, I'm not. It doesn't matter. I didn't miss a game. I didn't miss game time. I missed practice.
Tell me you have that sound clip.
I don't.
Oh.
I thought about it and I was like, man, everybody's heard it.
Has everybody? I don't think everybody here has heard it. I think everybody who's like a basketball fan has heard it. But I feel like I remember the first time I heard it because I didn't hear it like when he first said it. Again, I wasn't real hard into basketball then, but I was like, listening to Fox Sports Radio or something.
If a coach say I miss practice and y'all hear it, then that's that. I mean, I might have missed one practice this year, but if somebody say he doesn't come to practice, it can be one practice out of all the practices this year.
If you can.
That's enough. If I can't practice, I can't practice, man. If I'm hurt, I'm hurt. I mean,
I like his hat though.
Simple as that. It ain't about that. I mean, it's not about that at all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but it's easy to talk about. It's easy to sum it up when you just talk about practice. We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice. I know I'm supposed to be there. I know I'm supposed to lead by example. I know that. And I'm not shoving it aside, like it don't mean anything. I know it's important. I do. I honestly do. But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about?
Practice.
We're talking about practice, man. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. We ain't talking about the game.
He just keeps saying the same
practice,
thing.
Man.
So that's, I mean, we talking about practice, and that's fine. I get it. I don't disagree.
When you come in the arena and you see me play,
I don't disagree that we talking about practice, and it's not that was not as big of a deal as they made it.
Right.
The media blew that out of proportion.
Well, that's what he's saying. He's like, we're talking about. Who else do we talk about their practice?
I mean, now?
Yeah.
Now everybody. But
well, that's because these fools are like live streaming and shit from practice. Like,
right. But
watch LeBron eat tacos every Tuesday if you want.
But at that time, the media was not that involved in their lives. So at that time, they didn't care about anybody's practice. And
Taylor said she wants that kind of moxie. Well, you got to have a nickname like
the answer. AI. Are we talking about practice? Yeah, we talking about practice, man.
Not a game.
Practice.
I love that clip.
And I think that kind of sums up Allen Iverson as a whole, though.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter what I just did. Look what I can do, and look at what I do consistently every time I go out there.
And those shoes fucked.
And you wanna hold me back for this little bit here, but look at what I'm capable of. And this is one of the things that I think David Stern kind of shit the bed on. So David Stern is in control. That's how it's always been. He likes things his way because they make money for the league, and that means for the owners, which means for the players, and so on and so forth. David Stern gets paid.
Right.
What this also means is that everybody has to play their part because he's got this well-oiled machine that's moving, and these players are doing their part, and they're doing well, so they're getting paid, which means the owners are getting paid, which means the franchise makes money, and trickle up economics. I keep saying it, but
how angry did David Stern get when AI stepped over Ty Lue?
Oh, I'm sure he was furious. And I'm gonna get into some of that stuff because Allen Iverson got no leniency whatsoever at all, at all.
That step over was dirty.
It was amazing. But AI was kind of a pioneer. He was a bit of a trailblazer for the league. Although he never actually played for the Trailblazers.
Yeah. But he was for sure blazing.
Yeah.
He was.
But like I said, everybody had to play their part. David Stern's got a lot of plates spinning for things to for things to keep moving the way they're moving, and they were moving well at this point.
Right.
You got Kobe Bryant in the league. You got new faces. You've got new franchises that are
the European power is starting to really show the great players from other countries are starting to really come in and represent their countries and change the face of the league a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And it happens now and then where you get you get dynasties that change. You know what I mean? Like you'll see a team kind of fall off, and while they're still there or still good, they're not the team that they once were.
Right.
Like the Lakers after Magic before Kobe.
Right.
Or
the Red Sox for 86 years.
Like you see these teams and they slump, and they're still around, they're still hanging around, winning games, you know, edging other people out of the playoffs or whatever, but they're never really there until they have this
always the bridesmaid.
Never the bride. But yeah, the AI was kind of unapologetically himself, and you got to respect that. He was definitely,
especially when he knew he was doing it to his detriment. He was like, I don't give a fuck. This is me though.
Yeah,
like,
this is like
I'm not gonna be someone else for you.
Exactly, and he made a lot of waves. He's the way I feel about the whole situation and the relationship between Allen Iverson and David Stern is like, you know, when you're playing one-on-one, be it video games or basketball or whatever, you're playing one-on-one, and somebody is so much better than you that they start mocking you.
I've never experienced that.
Like you're playing against, but you know what I'm talking about?
No,
like,
I know exactly
where you're playing against, you're playing one-on-one
playing
against
the guy
somebody.
on Xbox, and he's just like messaging you like, dude, are you fucking stupid? Like,
yeah, uninstall.
Yeah.
Or you know, you're getting 360 no scoped every time this guy kills you because he can. And or you're playing one-on-one and this person just keeps knocking in threes, and then they're talking shit about your mom the whole time. Like that's how I feel like this relationship was, where David Stern wanted so badly to be in control, and Allen Iverson was just skating circles around him because he had the star power, he had the talent, he had. I mean, he was the complete package.
Bad as fuck.
And the NBA could have, if they had just held his hand and been like, okay,
embrace him,
we're gonna leverage this thing instead of shy away from it. It's like when it's almost like you're getting beat so bad that you start creating small goals for yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, no turnovers this possession.
When we're getting beat up and we engage Operation Don't Get Shut Out.
Yeah.
Like get a goal, just get a goal.
Right.
That's what I feel like this was. AI's playing circles around David Stern, and as a result, Stern resorts to moving goalposts figuratively and creating some arbitrary rules and kind of overlooking fouls that are committed against AI because it helps his cause. And, you know, as the GM of the league, like when AI does better, you do better. Why do you want to push back against this so much? He's not making the league look bad. Okay. At this point in the league, everybody was still wearing the short shorts. Like
that's what I was gonna say. Do you think was it just David Stern's fear of like the urban, like getting out of the like the comfortable corner they were in?
Yeah, everybody's looking safe, and then AI shows up and he's got neck tattoos and gold chains, and you know,
right. And he's got the
unlaced Timbs with the big baggy jeans, and like he was the first player to wear the XL shorts.
Yeah.
And people didn't like that.
I know Jordan rocked him a little bigger so he could wear his Carolina shorts. So they got a little bigger when Jordan came. And then AI did the below the knees, set the trend in the NBA for like the next 8 to 10 years kind of shit.
Exactly. I mean, now it's funny how it's watching how the pendulum swung all the way back the other way. And now you got dudes rocking compression shorts out the bottom of their shorts because they're so short. And
look at
and they're still lining up to play defense. And, you know, they're doing the.
Right. My favorite
just take them off.
Is looking at the LeBron's draft class suits.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that photo?
Yeah,
they're all just wearing the terrible, baggy, just ill-fitting suits. Yeah. Every single one of them. And you're like, man, most of these dudes have such good
Steve
style
Harvey
now.
Def Comedy Jam suit.
Yeah. Steve Harvey still wears that shit.
I know. But that's the one I think of. But yeah. And AI was so popular amongst fans. Like, how many kids, like you just said, those shoes were the shit. Yeah. You had them.
Yeah.
Like,
and I didn't even really like Reeboks, but I liked Allen Iverson.
Right.
Yeah.
He was the answer. And the
shoes were called The Question.
Were they?
Yeah.
Nice. That's just smart marketing. But they all the kids started wearing the big baggy shorts. Everybody started rocking the Philadelphia jerseys, you know what I mean? Like wearing the
Even like all the little white kids we knew were wearing like the upside down sweatband. And
exactly. And so as a result of this, David Stern created a dress code for the league.
I remember when the dress code hit.
So now you can't just show up wearing whatever you want to wear. You got to show up and you got to be wearing either a suit or you have to be wearing warm-ups, but they have to be your team, and like it has to be your pregame warm-ups. And they've kind of relaxed that a little bit.
Oh, a lot of it.
But
Russ is like, Russ treats it like a fucking red carpet fashion show every single game.
I know. It's like,
and he does that like weird high fashion where you're like, ew, what the fuck are you wearing, dude? Like that Cam Newton shit.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
And then I think about Dirk Nowitzki walking down the tunnel with the like corduroys and a button-down shirt and a plate of leftovers for his Tupperware from his wife. Wrapped in foil.
Yeah, but it's still good.
Yeah, it helps me make fadeaway. So yeah, like they were just beating up on. Be listening to the podcast on the plane home from Oakland. All right, Watcher, have some fun, man, and enjoy.
California knows how to party
in the city. So yeah, they had a dress code for AI because of his fashion choices. Like, I mean, it got implemented league wide, but it was definitely, and he definitely made some bold choices.
Didn't he used to carry the Gucci bag? Yeah.
Oh, you mean this one right here? This Gucci bag?
Those pants, dude.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like everything's so big. What? Yeah. You didn't play for the Lakers?
No.
I know it's hard to see because chat's up in the way. In fact, here we'll do
but you know what? In the bubble, I saw Russ wearing Lakers jersey.
Yeah.
You know, like in the bubble, on the court.
Yeah.
That just shows you how far it's come, which is cool.
But I mean,
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, he
was like super like entwined in the hip hop community too. So he was like, they dress like him, he dressed like them.
That was part of the problem that David Stern had, because you've got the hip hop side of things, which was in the late 90s, early 2000s. That was kind of the resurgence.
It was
of
very
Dr.
scary
Dre.
for an old Jewish man.
Yes.
It was very scary for him.
Exactly. And then, like, what was that line from, the song from Nas, Hip Hop Just Died, or whatever?
Hip Hop Just Died this morning.
Where he says, don't blame
Hip Hop should die before I wake.
Yeah, he says something about David Stern with his NBA fashion issues and, I think they like me in my white tee. Like, I mean, it's just like, this was scary. The tattoos were scary. This was scary for David Stern.
I might even dare to say he may have been one of, if not the first dude to rock the cornrows in the NBA too.
He rocked the cornrows. And when he stepped over Tyronn Lue had cornrows.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, he had a different attitude. He did the things like stepping over players after they went down, and but what was happening was, because he created such a threat for the league, they created rules to try and stop him. They created the dress code so he couldn't do that. They created the palming rule, which took away his move. Everybody did that going up to that point, but AI does it.
Yeah.
And now he can't do that. And they would call him for palming. I mean, the announcers were like, that's every time down the floor.
Right.
It's literally every time down the floor.
Nobody bounces it straight down.
Yeah, and like I get it if you do it and then hold it and then bring it back over. Yeah. Like, yeah, okay, call that, sure. But like the natural movement, like to keep control of it. Anyway. Yeah. So they took away a large part of his game, which was his crossovers and his handles, because they kept calling him for palming the ball. Again, hadn't been a problem for other players doing it and making it work since the beginning of basketball, but it worked too well for Allen Iverson, so it's got to be a rule. There's got to be a rule. There's a history of AI getting called against for ticky-tacky fouls and sometimes actual bullshit fouls. Let me see if I can find this one. This is the one I got the sound clip of.
Can I just point out now, just for anybody feeling real bad for AI, I'm not saying he shouldn't, but he is a fucking Hall of Famer.
Yeah, so. No, he got the last laugh.
Yeah.
Here's Larry Brown and Allen
Your
Iverson,
voice
arguing with the referee. Now it doesn't show the play, but it was, from what I remember from the one I did see, it wasn't bad. Oh no, it does show the play. Okay.
Right. Also remember AI was like 5'11".
Damn it.
I'm sure he'll be listed as 6 feet everywhere, but I'll be surprised if he was 5'10" and a half.
Push that button.
I like the title of the video.
I know, that's why I made it full screen. Oh, nope, it's still up there.
Yep, sure is.
He's lost it and drew the foul. Technical foul has been called.
I like Larry Brown.
It's on Philadelphia. It's on Iverson.
Like AI.
Oh, these guys want to get out and run. Well, here's that call that went against Monty Williams and Iverson that got them the tee.
Technical foul. Here. Slide. Push. Technical foul. Iverson. Allen.
Put up with a lot more than that.
Listen to me. It wasn't your play, and you went from there to there and brought the crowd down. You're not going to do
what?
it. Crowd down.
Crowd.
Yeah, these people here understand. Crowd down.
Yeah, these people here in the stands.
My job is to referee the game.
All right, so what you worrying about the crowd?
Allen, that's because you're not going to do that. Play the game yourself.
You let people get it away.
Allen, the conversation is over. What are you doing?
All right, man, what?
What's that, guys? Well, hello there. I'm doing great.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, they called him for bringing the crowd down. Like, that's not even a thing. Like, get out of here. That's not even a thing. But yeah, if they hadn't worked so hard to push AI away from the game, he could have been so much better. Like, instead they gave, they got all power hungry and just wouldn't let him be. Like, so Tim Donaghy, he said there were games where he said the referees would get together before the game, like in their pregame meetings, and they would discuss, okay, AI gets nothing easy up the middle. Any of those 50-50 fouls, in the lane where maybe he drew some contact, maybe he didn't, but it definitely affected the shot.
I think about that.
He's not getting any of those. There's nothing that he's going to get.
I think about that other video. Maybe you could pull it up. Maybe you don't watch. I don't know. The one where Michael goes over and he's like, hey, 45 hit me. And he's like, are you sure, Michael? Because I didn't see it. Are you sure? And literally the ref turns around to the table and he's like, 45 or whatever calls foul. He's like, I believe you, Michael. I didn't see anything over there, but I believe you, Michael.
I hate that.
And it looks like they're like joking, but like everything happened.
Yeah.
They did it all.
He got booked.
It was crazy, dude.
Yeah, I don't like that. I hate that that's a thing, and I hate that it's still a thing in the NBA. Like, you get the superstar calls. Like,
Kobe was the king.
Kobe was the king. LeBron is
the king. Well, never mind.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the king is dead. Long live the king, but
yeah, bad taste.
Yeah. I didn't mean to.
I know. But it's amazing at the things that they used to like let happen. Like, there's one where Allen Iverson's up in the air and gets shoved from the side, falls awkward, everything, and still no call. I mean, right in front of the baseline referee is standing right there, and watched the whole thing happen. No call. Yeah. Allen Iverson gets up and limps back into the play, but there's still no call. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, again, I understand superstar calls, but to intentionally jeopardize a player's safety, cut short their career.
Right.
And think about how much better the Sixers could have been all those times that he took them to the playoffs or almost to the playoffs, but couldn't because he's hurt. because they're letting him just get beat up. They're letting him get, oh God, who is it that gets that all the time? Who just gets hammered on? Steph Curry. He gets hammered on every time he drives into the paint, and they don't call it.
Yeah.
Because he can create from the outside. They're like, okay, fine. But they give
Get out to the line, you little twerp.
But they give everything to LeBron, who's, 6 inches taller and 75 pounds heavier, and comes flying in there at like 23 miles an hour or whatever it is, like, and he gets a little incidental contact with somebody trying to get out of his way so they don't take a knee to the chest, and they're like, that's a foul. LeBron's shooting. How many you want, bud? Just 2? All right, give him 2. And that's a problem. But and it's still going on in the NBA today. But that's all I've got for David Stern versus Allen Iverson. I just wanted to touch on that and, kind of illustrate the ways of the league, the shadiness that goes on. Like, it doesn't seem like actually nefarious, but it's still a bit of a conspiracy that things are going on behind the scenes and they refuse to be transparent about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like 30 years later, man.
No, let it go.
Let it go. Just tell us you were cheating.
Yeah. Well, David Stern kind of can't now. Yeah, but that's it. That's everything I've got. That's
my freaking report.
That's it. That's the end of my freaking report. So yeah, that's I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. That was sports conspiracies part 1.
This was fun.
This was fun.
Sports and video games. Can we just keep doing this?
I mean, if we can keep finding fun shit, yeah.
Potentially.
And I'm open for ideas too. So like I said, if you got one that you want to throw in there, like let's.
I have an idea. Let's do all the movie urban legends.
Okay.
Like
we could do movie urban legends, like the ghost
guy hanging from the ghost in 3 Minute
Baby. 3 Minute Baby, yeah. The guy hanging
little
from
person hanging in Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Let's throw that one together. That'd be fun.
Yeah. I heard there's this movie that if you watch it, a phone call, you get a phone call.
7 days.
No, they're like, we've been trying to reach you about your car's warranty. So yeah,
there's
that's
this other movie about a bus that
couldn't slow
down.
Yes, and if the bus slowed down below a certain speed, it would explode. I think it was called The Bus That Couldn't Slow Down. So yeah, thank you everybody for being here. You guys are all fucking amazing. I love you all very much for doing it. Jesse, thank you for being here, sir. Anything you want to say? Say hi to the nice people.
Hi, nice people. Normally you can catch me streaming Cromulent Jesse on Twitch. Not this week because I'm having major internet issues.
You've got 7 days to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. So Sunday it should be fixed. So I should be back Sunday night,
and
then
5 days to think about it.
I'll start the new schedule next week, which is 4 nights a week.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
And where was that they can find you?
Cromulent Jesse on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch.
Yes.
Yep.
Kristen, the people actually did die in the Twilight Zone movie.
Yeah,
that was fucked up.
For sure.
That was gnarly when that helicopter
What's that
crashed.
guy's name? Vic O'Mara?
No idea. But yeah, that was gnar. All right, well, I appreciate you all being here. Again, hellagregLIVE.com for all your Church of Hella needs. I'm going to try and stay more active on that too, like updating things. So I appreciate everybody for being here. Yeah, ! Merch. Buy stuff with my face on it. There's a limited time sweatshirt in there too. I keep meaning to get one because
it's limited, bro.
Well, and I like it. I like the idea. I just never made one. And then Eddie was like, I want it. So it's in there. It's called Eddie Sweaty. They're limited supply.
And Eddie is sweaty, so it's perfect.
It works out great.
It's wonderful.
Let's see. I think that's it for the show.
Please clap.
And I will...
Bing, bang, boom. See you next Tuesday.
Don't say see you next Tuesday.